Good morning and thank you for joining us in our weekly PRESSCON press briefing. Uy, may mga bago na mukha. Di ba kami yung natapang? First, I wish to express the overwhelming approval by the Philippine law enforcement community of President Rodrigo R. Duterte's enactment of the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, a measure that will add more teeth to the government's aggressive stance against domestic terrorism and bolster the Philippines' international commitment against terrorist organizations that operate across national borders. As we have previously stated, it is better late than sorry, despite being the latest country, the Asia-Pacific, that passed an anti-terrorism law, because we can never be able to quantify loss of lives, property, and opportunities in a scenario of panic and fear should we find ourselves caught in the middle of a single incident of terrorism in the same magnitude as the 9/11 in New York in 2001, the 7/7 in London in 2005, and the Rizal Day 2000 bombing in Manila and the siege of Marawi City in 2017. The recent discovery of a financial conduit of the Dawla Islamiyah in Manila, operated by an active cell composed of local Abu Sayyaf groups, sleeper operatives, should serve as a wake-up call for law enforcement and the community to heighten our vigilance against terrorist groups actively operating in our midst. The PNP listens to and fully understands the concerns of the public, and you may rest assured that we shall faithfully uphold all institutional mechanisms that provide safeguards to the implementation of this law to its fullest effect. Second, during the weekend, your PNP mobilized our personnel and resources to assist an estimated 10,000 locally stranded individuals, or LSIs, in Metro Manila who wish to go back to their hometowns and provinces through the Hatid Tulong program of government. The PNP facilitated the issuance of travel authority to qualified LSIs through our one-stop shop help desks. Also, the PNP Health Service provided medical teams composed of police doctors and nurses in support of the Department of Health that administered the rapid testing and issuance of medical certificates to the program beneficiaries. All concerned police regional offices and lower units coordinated with local government units for the smooth transit of LSIs into provinces, cities, and municipalities, while strictly observing IATF-imposed health protocols and standards. As of 6 a.m. today, the PNP recorded 22 more confirmed COVID-19 cases among police personnel, mostly in NCRPO and Police Regional Office 7. These new cases added to the total PNP COVID-19 cases to 902, with 414 recoveries, 9 deaths, and 479 active cases. NCRPO posted the highest number of cases at 354, followed by PRO 7 with 248 cases, the National Support Units with 81 cases, and Pro Calabarzon with 69 cases. Incidentally, PRO 7 posted the 830 suspected cases that are awaiting confirmatory testing. On illegal drugs, I am pleased to announce the highlights of continuing police action in support of the National Anti-Illegal Drugs Campaign of government. Some 11 billion worth of illegal drugs in the form of crystal meth and marijuana products were seized as police anti-drug units launched 25,612 separate operations across the country, with 38,179 high-value targets, drug peddlers, and drug users arrested during the first half of the year. Data covering the period January 1, 2020 to June 30, 2020 showed that police anti-drug units in coordination with PDEA regional units seized a total of 1,571.33 kilograms. That's 1.57 metric tons of crystal meth or shabu, and 2,907 kilograms or 2.9 metric tons of marijuana, all with an estimated value of 11.03 billion pesos. Meanwhile, the opening days of the second semester of year 2020 ushered a series of successful operations that sustained the momentum of the campaign against illegal drugs and organized crime during the past 6 months. The first week of July saw the fall of an 8-member drug syndicate operating in Mikawayan City, from whom 10 kilograms of shabu or 68 million were seized in a buy-bust operation. In Quezon City on Saturday, 4 suspects were arrested by PDEA and PCPD agents for trafficking of 4,000 grams, or that's 4 kilos of shabu worth 27 million. Also on Saturday, Cordillera Police destroyed some 63,000 fully grown marijuana plants worth 12 million in a clandestine farm in Tinglayan, Kalinga, while another bust operation in Taguig on Sunday afternoon resulted to the arrest of a female suspect with 500 grams of crystal meth worth 3.4 million. Elsewhere, in operations against organized crime, a dismissed patrolman who turned to a life of crime as swing leader of a kidnap for ransom gang died in an encounter with operatives of the IMEC and AKG in Binangonan, Rizal on Saturday. An unidentified member of the gang also died in the confrontation. Ex-P1 Rafael Maray was the subject of a complaint for kidnapping filed by the parents of one of his 3 alleged victims. Maray and his group on board a van were seen casing the complainants at Tanawan Valley, Barangay Makamot, Binangonan on Saturday morning. When checked by the IMEC AKG security team, the suspects opened fire, triggering an encounter with lawmen. In Soxargen, simultaneous police operations through drug buy-bust and manhunt for wanted persons launched in General Santos City, Sarangani, South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, and North Cotabato last week resulted in the arrest of 141 persons and confiscated 15 high-powered firearms and 136 sachets of shabu. 3 suspects died in these operations. Because we have redirected combined operational focus on both illegal drugs and loose firearms whenever possible, the recovery last week of some 500 firearms from the activated and delinquent security agencies and company guard forces by the Supervisory Office for Security and Investigative Agencies, or SUSIA, was a preemptive action to prevent these firearms from falling into the wrong hands and be used for unlawful means. Given the rate and intensity of police operations over the past 5 days, I am confident that we can surpass our operational targets toward the remaining months of the year. I have an appeal to the public that the PNP has been confronted with a lot of issues during the GCQ and during the past few weeks. I would like the public to understand that the Philippine National Police is exerting its best effort to correct this mistake. Some will even require institutional reforms which we are actually doing. Hindi naman lahat ng mga bagay kaya namin i-prevent. No? But as much as possible, we prevent things from happening. At lalo na yung may mga maakusahan ng mga pulis sa mga karumal-luman na krimen, we will not stop, no? Especially yung sa Pangasinan. I actually directed IAS to finish and dismiss the policeman in 15 days. No? That's the trust that I have given since I sat as officer in charge. That we should be able to dismiss our personnel fast. So, starting today, I'm counting 15 days, and hopefully, by that time, because According to the investigators, there is a very good number of evidences that could substantially prove that indeed these two PNP personnel will be involved in such crime. So I hope you will help me watch our Internal Affairs Service that 15 days from now, we will require the dismissal of these two policemen. And of course, other than the criminal charges that have already been filed against them. So I hope the public will understand that the PNP leadership is doing its best, starting reforms from recruitment to while they are in the service, so that in the end, we are able to produce credible policemen who can actually maintain peace and order in the community. Thank you very much. I'm ready for the questions. Wala akong kaibigan. Update saan? Hulo-sulo, okay. Now, over the weekend, over the week, last Friday, me, the Chief of Staff, the Commanding General of the Philippine Army, and together with other senior officers of the PNP and the AFP, together of course with SND and SILG, pinulong kami ng Presidente. Of course, separate niyo sa PNP, separate niyo sa AFP. Pero ang content ng speech ni Presidente is iisa lang. Kung ano sinabi niya sa PNP, hindi niyo sinabi niya sa AFP. Ang pinakauna niyang sinabi na let us cool down, let us calm down over what happened. Alam niya na may mga sentimento lalo na on the part of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Sabi pa nga niya na kayo, kung anong gusto niyo gawin, pwede niyo gawin. But in the end, you still have to ponder whether it will do good to the public or to the community. So yun yung plea niya. But he also emphasized on both forums. Ang sabi niya, mananagot ang dapat managot. So he is expecting full accountability. Kung meron mang sala ang mga pulis, then even the President or even the AFP leadership and the PNP leadership submits to whatever the decision of the National Bureau of Investigation. So yun yung general na mga sinabi ni Presidente. And I hope na nandun na yun. Kung meron kayong dagdag na nalalaman, meron kayong mga ebidensya, then I suggest you all forward it to NBI. Kasi hindi makikialam ang Philippine National Police, hindi makikialam ang Armed Forces of the Philippines at the conduct of the investigation. At of course, pero kung kailangan yung mga PNP to appear, then we will appear. And then second, I was supposed to bring the 9 respondents, respondents ang tawag ng Presidente, 9 respondents policemen to Manila, pero nagkaroon ng problema dahil nag-positive yung isa. So, I'm putting now the responsibility to the Regional Director of the BAR, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, Police Brigadier General Manuel Abu, to bring the policemen anytime this week. To bring the policemen anytime this week to Camp Rame. So, si RD ang escort. And then, ano pa ba? I think that's it. Today the Inspector General of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Police Lieutenant General Dakal, will be arriving here in Carame to thresh out organizational matters in the creation of a board of inquiry, which will be launched together with the Armed Forces of the Philippines Inspector General and the Inspector General of the Internal Affairs Service of the Philippine National Police. But of course, we do not want to preempt any the results on the investigation of NBI. So ito ngayon, organizational lang kung ano yung commander's intent. Me and the AFP, through their chief of staff, have agreed to come up with this board inquiry primarily to determine operational lapses and how we can improve our operational procedures, both the AFP and the PNP. So ito yung latest ng yes, nandun naman sila, pero sinabi ko lang sa kanila na you will go to Krame para ma-diffuse yung tension and then expect kung ano yung sasabihin ng NBI that hindi ako makikialam. No? So kung merong liable sa inyo, then so be it. No? But of course, for the meantime, you will be under the custody of the Philippine National Police.
Sir, morning.
Good morning.
Sir, clarify ko lang po, yung out of the 9 policemen, paano ko na-discover na merong COVID-19 na positive sa COVID-19 yung isa? Prior to them meeting with the President?
Yes, prior.
Can you just say to us how,
Hindi,
what were the circumstances?
every time there's a forum, no? Not only with the President, no? If there's a forum na may mga big officials na especially sa government, there's always the conduct of a rapid test. So, lahat tinitest and incidentally, yung isa nag-IgM positive. Now, I hope you understand what IgM means. It does not necessarily conclude na COVID yun, di ba? It just says that he has developed certain antibodies confronting a specific bacteria or a virus or a bacteria. So, kaya preemptive, hindi na siya pwedeng isama sa Manila kasi sasakay kami sa C-130 lahat, no? Together with the SILG, the NBI, and me. So, minabuti ng Air Force na wag nang payagan i-transport. Kasi kahit ibalot namin ng PPE, meron na siyang naka-encounter niya na yung 8. So the possibility of the 8 being infected is still a possibility. So hindi kami nagkumpiyansa. Kaya sabi ko kay RDRMM, have him tested again through RT-PCR, and then kung positive, then he'll be treated. Otherwise, yung siyam will be brought to Manila. So we're expecting that within the week, ma-test yung isa, at kung negative naman siya sa COVID, then sabay-sabay na silang dadalhin sa Manila.
Sir, so, kanina, if I understand it correctly, they were still able to meet the President?
Yes, yes. Pero malayo sila.
So even if he already tested positive for the rapid test, kinailangan pa rin siyang
Hindi ko na
isn't that dangerous?
Hindi ko na napansin, no, whether siyam yun or 8. Kasi they were just seated there, and then in-interview ko sila, and then yun, dumating si Presidente. So I'm not really sure kung yung isang positive was also there. Pero ano naman yun, it was the PSG who conducted. Pero sabi ko nga, pag IgM naman, hindi necessary na COVID yun. What is important is, lalo na kung positive, you take preemptive action. Pero lahat naman doon naka-mask, lahat naman doon naka-face shield. Kami, even us, when we go to Malacanang, when we face the President, we always wear the face shield and then mask. Tapos kami, naka-long sleeve naman kami lahat doon. Dahil naka-field service uniform. Sinabi niya na, alam mo, nagpasalamat din kami because the President really gave importance to us. No? Kasi nakikita niya naman, at actually sinabi niya nga, na alam ko mabigat ang damdamin ng AFP. Pero ang sa side kasi yun sa AFP, sa PNP naman, in-emphasize niya lang na whatever will be the results of the NBI, then managot ang dapat managot. Yun yung pinaka-ultimate message niya doon sa PNP side. Sa AFP naman, overemphasize din yung dapat kalma lang kayo. So ito naman yung gist nung pagbisita niya. And of course, sinabi niya na I've been doing everything, I double your salary, I give you everything that you need. Pero sabi niya, in the end, may mga hindi talaga maiwasan na pangyayari naman. But, he emphasized that there should be accountability.
Organizational reasons na investigate. Yes, diba sa remember correctly, I understand the PGEN is also investigating.
No. Wala na. Wala. Hindi kasi yun yung una na intensyon na mag-investigate. Pero sabi ko naman, at nag-agree nga nga kami ni Chief of Staff, na NBI na pagdating sa criminal and administrative culpability. Yes. Kasi makikita mo doon, ang kaso kasi ng criminal, kunwari murder, meron niyang kaakibat na offense din sa PNP, parang grave misconduct. So, he will be tried for murder, and then pag nag-recommend nga na, of course, naturally, pag nag-recommend yan for murder, or even homicide, or even kung ano man, then may kaakibat yan na administrative liability. And then from there, we will, kasi pwedeng i-file yan actually ng NBI sa ombudsman. Pag ombudsman kasi, rekta yon, pwede yung administrative tsaka criminal. Pero pag regular courts, then probably they will file it doon sa criminal and then administrative, they will throw it to us, no? Because we have jurisdiction over our personnel. Yeah, just for pre-charge, no? But of course, the investigation will be distinct and separate from the criminal. Nasa BAR headquarters kay
within the week pa sila dadalhin sa kasay.
Within the week. Kasi ang unang problema doon, yung unang nag-positive na C2 kasi siyempre sasakay ng eroplano. So dapat negative siya sa COVID, no? Para hindi siya makahawa.
Sir, good morning. Sir, Senator Rizal said that the incident in Bolo further fits the public's distrust toward the PNP. Nakita daw yung image ng PNP and she's calling for Senate investigation, same with Senator Tito Pangilinan. Sir, reaction lang sir dun sa naka-apekto o nakasama na daw ito sa PNP?
Hindi, siyempre, gano'n naman talaga, no? Kaya nga nung sabi ko, pakiusap ko, we're doing everything. And hindi natin talaga maiwasan. There are isolated cases that happen. So from there, we take off. No? Hindi ko naman sinasabing perfecto kami, but we accept criticism. No? Lalo na yung kung may akto na nangyari, kagaya ng Hulo, kagaya ng Pangasinan, ng Ilocos pala, hindi pala Pangasinan, ng Ilocos. No? So really, pero these are the things that we should learn. No? Kaya nga meron mga operational review, especially yung sa Hulo incident, so that the AFP and the PNP, sabi din naman ng Chief of Staff yun, can revisit our policies. No? So, ito naman, this is an isolated case. It's not happening every day, no? It may happen, but it's not happening regularly. But we should move forward, no? Kaya nga, nagsama kami ni Chief of Staff doon, together with the Commanding General of the Philippine Army, who is also my classmate, no? Si Police Lieutenant General Wilbert Gapay. So that mapag-usapan na, actually, we heed to the call of the President na pumalma at ibigay yung investigation sa inyo.
First, sir, sa rules of impeachment, what went on, sir? Ano yung nakita niyo mali and what needs to be improved?
Hindi, I do not want to preempt, no? Pero ang pagganyan kasi, ang usual na problema talaga niyan is coordination. Mama Sapano has the same problem, coordination. So probably coordination, no? That's why ang trust ngayon ng Board of Inquiry is to study coordination from strategic down to tactical. No, para ma-revisit natin kung ano yung mga dapat gawin so that these things won't happen again. No. Kasi mahirap kung sabayan namin we give the full investigation to NBI. And then pag may results ng NBI, then necessarily mas mabilis on the part of the PNP to pursue the administrative. Wala mo na. involve ang Internal Affairs Service doon sa operational review together with the Inspector General of the Air Force of the Philippines.
The expected outputs are not operational review. Will this be adopted jointly via the PNP? How will that work?
No, probably, yes, jointly because we find our common interest in terms of operation. Kasi nga, dapat interoperable. Sinasabi kasi natin yung interoperability ng PNP at saka ng AFP. Usually sa communications lang eh. No, but this time, kaya nga sinabi ko, starting from strategic down to tactical. So kasi yung sa communication, kunwari sa radyo, that's tactical. No? Pero strategic would have a different scope. And lalawakan namin ito, no? Including the study of what's the real situation in Polo and Sulu. Polo, Sulu. So that all of these things can be considered. Kasi isa lang naman ang kalaban namin. Yeah, yan yung sinasabing tactical. Kasi sa pag-strategic, pangkalahatan, pag-tactical, it will really differ from one area to another. Kasi iba yung circumstances present. Lalo na dito sa Polo, Sulu. Actually, kinausap ko sila but I did not bother to ask them questions. No? So sinabi ko lang na nandito ako, ama niyo ako. No? Of course, I give you my protection to some extent. Pero we should participate and we should cooperate fully with NBI. Kasi kung ang ginawa niyo naman tama, then wala kayong worry. Pero syempre, pag mali, then mananagot talaga kayo. Sinabi ko naman sa kanila, they will be taken care of here in Camp Rame at they have nothing to worry. Of course, syempre hindi siguro sila sanay, no? Kasi mga non-commissioned officers. May isa pa daw na umiyak, no? Na alis doon sa probably human instinct lang ng father, ng ama, nahiwalay sa pamilya niya. And of course, hindi sila ganun kasaya because they are accused of something very serious. And I think, alam nila kung gaano ka-serious yung accusation against sa kanila. And I think they understand it. I do not want to preempt it kasi wala pa namang implementing rules and regulation. But sabi ko nga doon sa, I even told Senator Lacson during his talk with the PNP on the command conference that we conducted. Sabi ko, sir, we will actively participate in the formulation of the IRR. Kasi syempre, it has a law enforcement function, it has a law enforcement aspect, and we really want to know what are the intents of the legislature and how the executive wants to implement it. Pero parang generally, it's not all who's going to implement it. There will be selected people who will be trained and who would be made to understand fully the implications of their actions in relation to the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020. So, the public, of course, mayroon kayong mga apprehensions, but rest assured, the Philippine National Police is hindi ito indiscriminately na-impose ng PNP. There will be special people, special units who's going to implement the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020.
So, ipinta natin yung bago ma-disseminate yung pulo
Yes. Actually, meron tinatawag na self-executing, no? Yung right away, pag effect ng batas 50 days after, pwede mo nang i-implement. Meron iba na kailangan ng implementing rules para malaman mo kung ano ang guidelines on how to implement the different provisions of the law. No? So, to completely appreciate the anti-terrorism law, then we all have to wait for the IRR. But probably, the dissemination, the education can already start. No? But the implementation, we still have to study, of course, the requirement of law on publication and yung hindi self-executing that requires the implemented rules and regulations for it to be implemented. So we have to wait for these circumstances to happen.
Sir, kung ganun yung mga police, meron kong tinatawag na mental fatigue, yung nangyayari sa mga police natin. Ano ang ginagawa ng PNP to address those problems?
Okay, meron kaming health service, no, na meron kaming mga psychologists and psychiatrists. Actually, part ito ng responsibility ng administrative side ng COVID Shield, no, which is under the leadership of Police Lieutenant General Picoy Cascola. So sila yung nag-undertake, and one of the consideration is ito talaga, no? Kasi alam mo, ang mahirap is, of course, yung situation, hindi lang siya usual law enforcement, the possibility of being infected, which is actually an indication on Cebu and NCRPO cases, na ang talagang nahahawa yung sa frontliners namin ng mga nasa checkpoint. So, really, dapat yung state of mind ng kapulisan before they get deployed again should undertake an assessment whether they are fit psychologically and mentally dito sa mga gawain nila in relation to our campaign in dito sa COVID-19 prevention. I still have to determine kung merong RT-PCR testing center o ang pinakamalapit sa bar, no? And then after that, actually, sa mga lahat ng PNP camps, no, I all require them to come up with their own quarantine areas on probable, on suspects, and on positives who are actually asymptomatic. Pero pag symptomatic na siya, then dapat sa ospital ang punta niya. Hindi, kasi hindi nga sila nag-positive eh. Pero actually, ang determining talaga dyan, sa tingin ko although hindi naman ako doktor, i-RT-PCR muna. And then from there, kung nag-positive siya, then appropriate steps should be taken. Pati na siguro yung i-test, no? Before they are brought in here. Pero kung negative naman siya sa RT-PCR, then iba naman ang mangyari. Not necessarily COVID. Not necessarily COVID. Yun yung sa RTK, hindi siya conclusive na COVID yung kanyang dinidevelopan ng antibodies. Kaya nga kailangan talaga ng another RT-PCR test to confirm pag COVID siya.
So before sila nalilito sila ng Manila, kailangan sila
Yung isa muna. Yung isa muna. Oh. Kasi pag negative siya, alam mo, kami sa PNP, wala kaming problema sa contact tracing dahil meron nga kaming tinatawag na diary. You write every day kung sino mga kasama mo, etc. No? Because kami mismo sa PNP, kaya meron kaming, madali namin i-establish yung aming mga probables and then yung mga suspects and probables dahil nga meron kaming naka-in place na contact tracing procedure.
Sir, I know that if you are at liberty to answer this, pero next time pag-usap niyo po ba sa yung mga suspects ng mga police? Although you said you didn't ask questions, meron ba naman lumalabas ng motibo? Kasi kung sinasabi niyo na nagkaroon ng misinformation or miscommunication, were they supposedly targeting the suicide bombers as well, the police, together with the AFP? Paano magkakalan ba? Ano lumalabas ng motibo?
I cannot jump to that conclusion kasi other parties would say this one, other parties would say this one. Kaya nga sabi ko, para hindi na tayo makonfuse, pabayaan na natin sa NBI. Kung sa tingin nyo, material yung information nyo, then you give it to NBI so that it can help them. No? Because the AFP and the PNP already submits to the NBI whatever their findings will be.
Sir, last. Doon po sa Kabugoy lawsuit, yung dalawang pulis po na pinasunan ako ng murder, ano po ang naging basehan para, kasi parang lumalabas na right after kasunan ng rape, yung isa sa mga pulis na yun, nangyari na yung pagpapaslang dun sa babae, 15-year-old. Ano yung out natin ngayon? Why you mentioned a while ago that yung pagtanggal sa servisyo ay dapat maging mabilis. Meron na tayong enough evidence
Yes.
therefore, to prove that they were the ones involved in the murder.
Yes, kasi tinanong ko muna because alam ko itatanong nyo. Kasi sasabihin ko, dismiss them in 15 days. At pag sinabi ko yun, ibig sabihin, may tamang ebidensya to dismiss them. Remember, what you need for the degree of proof that you need in any administrative case is only substantial. Ano ang substantial evidence? That an ordinary person believes that indeed that person committed that offense. Ganun lang siya kasimple. An ordinary person. Yan lang yung required proof in administrative charge. Yung tinatawag natin substantial. Substantial proof.
Pero even if they will be dismissed from service, they will still have to take both the rape and the murder case or anything else?
Oo, kasi criminal yon. Criminal. Actually, kaya mas mabilis din dapat yung rape tsaka acts of lasciviousness tsaka yung murder case para makulong sila. No, kasi yan actually ang dilemma ng PNP. No matter how grave the offense is, ang pwede lang namin gamitin is restrictive custody. Nare-restrict naman namin sila sa kampo. There's also, their movement is also restricted. Pero siyempre iba yung ikulong ko. Diba? Unlike, I think sa Articles of War sa AFP, pwede nilang ikulong eh. Meron silang power to detain. Kami, ang problema namin, dahil civilian in nature kami, wala kaming power to detain. Merong restrictive custody actually likened to a detention. Pero hindi talaga yung nakalagay sa presuhan ba, yung may bars, ganyan. Hindi talaga ganon. Kasi, I don't know, maybe the legislature can revisit it. Actually, before, merong power sa Chief PNP to require that person to be under custodial investigation or custodial parang imprisonment. Pero because of the enactment of 8551, that has been lost. So our power really is only restrictive custody. But of course, para na rin actually deprived, no? Pero hindi lang siya nakalagay sa kulungan. Kasi ang sinabi ko 15 days, yun yung, dati kasi ano yun eh, 90 days actually yan dati. When I assume as CPN, as OIC, sabi ko let's revisit. Because nung ako ang summary hearing officer, when I was still a full colonel I think, I can dismiss personnel in 2 weeks. So sabi ko, if I can do it, kasi ang requirement actually bakit sa 15 days? Meron siyang 5 days to answer. No? And then within 5 days, pwede kayong mag-report yung accused, yung respondent, tsaka yung defense, ay yung complainant, para magmarka ng evidences. So that's another 5 days, so that's 10 days. After the submission and marking, actually, the summary hearing officer can already decide. So parang bigyan na siya ng 5 araw to decide, appreciate the evidences. And then right there and then, after 15 days, sa tingin ko, kaya. Although nasa napulkom na ata yung 15 days, no? But we're trying to implement it. Kasi ang sinabi ko, yung 90 days is the maximum. But the law did not say what is the minimum. So I'm now setting the minimum for now. No? But later, my minimum will be the maximum. Kasi mas madali, no? Pag ganito kasi, mas napipil ng mga kapulisan yung paano mo sila disiplinahin, no? Rather than it will take 90 days, tapos pag-alagala sila, what will the people say? Bakit ganyan kabagal? O, si pulis na accused ng rape, pero pag-alagala pa dyan. Now, these are the things that mahirap rin i-explain because of procedural due process. No? Kaya sabi ko nga, let's put it na 15 days. I know it's a very difficult task on the part of the summary hearing officer kasi in addition lang yung trabaho nila sa usual work nila eh. Pero I think it can be done. No? And we're actually doing it. Okay? Thank you very much. All the brave souls are already here. Thank you.